What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationships. And if you'd like to skip that initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. But if you do have a moment of your time and you do enjoy this kind of content, please consider clicking that like button, maybe that subscribe too, and get involved down in the comments below. No pressure though. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for being involved today. And let's crack on with today's stories. Much love, guys. Now, our first story comes from Smart Promotion 9110, titled, I, 28 male, messed up by asking my girlfriend, 26 female, to stop talking about her late boyfriend. Her college boyfriend passed away in an accident 5 years ago. I, 28 male, understand that he will always be part of her, 26 female life, and she will always love him. Her grief and trauma and how she dealt with losing her boyfriend is part of who she is as a person. We have been dating for 2 years. The problem is that she brings him into our relationship. Every time I make a mistake or get hurt, she always brings up how we used to treat her and how I should try to be more like him. She doesn't do it in an accusatory way, but it still kinda stings. It has been getting to me. Yesterday, I got news that I received the promotion I had been vying for. I was not very hopeful about getting it. It was a position which had many candidates from all different departments. We celebrated a little. We started talking about how we could do all the things we had planned for. In the middle of this conversation, I joked about being too anxious about these things. She responded by saying that her boyfriend has always been so calm and collected, very chill about everything. He could just shrug off anything. I am exactly the opposite. I am anxious and a person who worries a lot. I don't know why, but it hurt me a lot. I asked her to stop talking about him. She looked offended but didn't respond, and I just ruined the night. We sat there for a few minutes before she decided to clean up and go to bed early. I feel like I'm being compared against someone I will never match up to. I know that he is very important to her, but can't she cherish him without making me feel like shit? She has been distant today. I know she is hurt. She has barely spoken to me today. I feel I should just ignore her comments and rolled with it. My message and delivery were all wrong. I feel guilty about hurting her. I should have done a better job of being sensitive about this and brought it up when she was celebrating. I want to sort this out and have a productive conversation with her so that we can deal with this issue. How? Need some help going about that. You know, like I always say, in every story that deals with grief, we all deal with grief in different ways, and it's okay to deal with grief in different ways as long as it's healthy. But I got to say, in some ways, this one doesn't sound like it's a very healthy way to deal with grief, like comparing you to her boyfriend that's passed away. I mean, even if she was comparing you to an ex who was alive, that still wouldn't be the right thing to do, would it? And so while she may have been a little insensitive, which you're very apologetic for, so I can't blame you for it in the situation, I can't blame you for the way you're feeling in this, I don't think. But let's check out a couple of comments before we move on to the update. Impossible Edge says, I don't think you're in the wrong here. Yes, you could have been more sensitive about it, which you acknowledge and should apologize for, but I really don't think you're in the wrong. You're being held to an impossible standard, and that's 100% unfair to you. You can't even celebrate your own accomplishments without her trying to make it all about him. It sucks that it came to a head like this, but use this as a chance to finally address the issue. Sage Stun says, you cannot move forward in your relationship with a dead guy hanging over the two of you. Yes, she can grieve and miss him. That isn't what she is doing. She is using him as a tool to aid in making you feel less than someone else. Seriously, she needs counseling. What Crisis says, it's often very hard to say things calmly or reasonably when you are hurt or angry. You don't say if you have talked to her about the issue. You really should. She hasn't moved past her late boyfriend. People only remember the good stuff when people die, never the bad stuff. You can never be his equal because he is dead. He can't screw up. It is not even fair for her to compare the two of you. You need to tell her how this makes you feel. She is free to remember him in her mind, but not in yours. And we'll have one more from Trifolium Hair who says, like the others, it's not weird that you feel like this. Comparing your current partner to an ex like that is not okay, even if he's dead. Yeah, you could have just worded that better, but that doesn't mean you are wrong. But rather than her just stop talking about her dead partner, she probably needs counseling. But honestly, you don't have to be there for it. You deserve a partner who appreciates you, and don't compare you to others. She might be a good person, but she hasn't been a good partner to you. I don't think she's ready for a relationship with another person. Now let's move on to the update to see what that says. So update. All the comments here helped me understand that we needed to talk about the issue, but she was still a bit mad at me. I thought I should just give her space for a few days. I think a day or two after it was announced that I was being promoted. Some of my colleagues hosted a little after work dinner for me, as I would be moving divisions and not working with them anymore. It was nice and it really touched me, and it made me understand how fucked our relationship had become. I got what the comments meant, but I guess actually having a nice dinner celebrating my success felt great and made me truly understand how unhappy I felt. We had a talk a few days later. I told her that I felt unhappy and unappreciated, that I felt like I needed some time away from her. She almost seemed like she was waiting for this. She didn't seem particularly upset over it. She said she understood and she would move back to her parents as soon as possible. I know it's ugly, but some part of me wanted her to be upset. Some proof that she cared for me, I don't know. I feel like she didn't love me at all. I feel like I wasted years being in love with her. She moved out 2 weeks ago and I miss her a lot. Home feels really lonely without her, but at the same time, I feel better. Not a lot, but I feel better about myself. It is strange. She's not a bad person, she is a wonderful person, and that is why I fell in love with her. But the closer we got, the less happy our relationship made me. I know a lot of it was my fault, and I need to work on communication skills. And our next story comes from Immediate March 6598, titled, My 36 male family is upset I'm prioritizing my brother-in-law over my niece after my sister 27 female cheated. And again, this one is going to come with an update. My sister Mary, 27 female, met her husband Tom, 29 male, when she was attending college out of state, and he was stationed near her campus with the army. After he got out, she dropped out of school so they could move to our home state at her request, so we've been the only family he's had here. They have a 3-year-old daughter, Jane. Not long ago, a guy, call him Bill, reached out to Tom on Facebook and told him that he saw my sister has a 3-year-old kid, and there's a possibility my niece may be his child. He and my sister had been having an affair from the time they moved home until shortly after she found out she was pregnant. He had to move away for work and my sister never mentioned the pregnancy to him, or that she was married. Tom confronted Mary and eventually she admitted to the affair. 2 paternity tests later, it was confirmed my niece is not Tom's child. He has been devastated. Bill wants to be in Jane's life, but my sister and family are staunchly against this. They say Jane already has a dad, Tom. Tom has been going to counselling since Biodad first reached out to him, and he just cannot see Jane the way he used to or be around her or talk about her without breaking down. He says it hurts too much and he feels like his life has been based on a lie. Nor can he really imagine staying in her life with Bill around. Since they separated, I've been letting Tom stay at my place since he has no family here. My sister thinks I'm out of line letting Tom stay and that I'm depriving my niece of her uncle. She doesn't want Jane here so long as I'm supporting Tom, fair I guess, and Tom has offered that he would go to friends, or out if I wanted to babysit or spend time with my niece. Also fair. Personally, I sympathise with Tom. I'm not an affair baby, but my mother was pregnant with me when she met my sibling's father. He made the stipulation that it'd stick around, but my bio dad and bio family could not be around, and my mother agreed. He treated me differently once my sister and brothers were born, and even more so after he and my mother divorced. My paternal family reached out eventually and I learned the truth, and I got to know them. This pissed off my adopted dad to no end, and his family as well. Said it was a slap in the face that I would even want to know my other family. They were my family, and it was ungrateful of me to forsake all of that. I don't want my niece to possibly go through that. Getting stuck between families is the worst. So I've been helping Tom find out more about Bill and mediating between them when they talk. Bill seems like a real stand-up guy with positive people around him and wants to take my sister to court for custody, and brother-in-law as well to be taken off the birth certificate. I support both of them in these decisions and I've offered to help if they need it. My sister is mad at me, but I have told her and our family that she should only be mad at herself. None of this would be happening if she hadn't played eeny meeny miny mo with her kid's dad. My family thinks I'm prioritising Tom and Bill over my own niece, that I should be shaming him for abandoning his daughter, and that I am turning my back on her, but I don't think I am. I also think that Tom deserves some kind of support through all this. I could really use some outside perspective. Is this really a wrong stance for me to take, or should I back off because my family is right about Tom needing to stick around and shun Bill? Automatically my brain is thinking not the arsehole on this one, but I keep forgetting, as always, we're in relationships here, and you are definitely not the arsehole in this situation simply because you're a good person for looking after Tom. Tom is a victim of all this. Bill is as well because he didn't know about daughter. And so is niece Jane. The sister is the one who's caused all this entire mess, and it's all her fault. So I don't think she gets a say in any of it, in my opinion. But before we go to the update, Razmoon says, "Stand firm, OP. You're a good person. Keep standing tall. This whole situation is on your sister's head, but she's trying to blame you for supporting 2 of the 3 victims of her shenanigans. It sounds like you are the scapegoat of the family. You're not putting the 2 men above your niece. Your sister is weaponizing her. She is the one not allowing you to see her. Don't buy into their manipulative BS. Your sister could very easily set up times when you can visit your niece, go on an outing to the park for example, etc. She is the one putting the caboose on this. I find it admirable that you are ultimately benefiting your niece by clearing up her paternity situation and allowing her bio-dad to claim his rights to her. I especially find it admirable that you're supporting your brother-in-law after the massive betrayal that he has endured via your sister's hand. Keep walking tall and don't lower yourself to your family's non-existent ethics." Jazz Scam says, "Sorry, your sister needs to, figuratively, be set on fire. She is the reason this happened. Paternity fraud, cheating, lying, just scum. There are 3 victims here, Jane, Tom and Bill. I understand Tom's position. I don't think I could raise another man's child. I honestly believe it would be my worst nightmare if my son wasn't mine. It doesn't matter what your family thinks, Bill has rights, he is going to be involved. They need to deal with this. It seems everything he has done is honourable. Reaching out must have been hard. This has got to be awful for Jane. My heart breaks for her. Luckily, there are still a large number of people fighting to be involved. I think she is going to be okay. Fortunately, she is really young too. What a piece of shit Mary is. I hope you're doing okay. You sound like a fantastic uncle." And we have a couple more before we move on to the update with Funtax, who says, "You're a good man, OP. Stand your ground. Don't let Tom fall to a sad state. Be there for him. Disregard what your sister and family have to say." And one more from Dexter, who says, "Your sister doesn't get to decide who she wants on her side. It's your choice to support who you want to. Your family showed true colours after your half-siblings were born, and now they're acting as if you were their family when you were supporting your brother-in-law and your niece's bio-dad. What you did is right. Your family is full of narcissistic assholes." Now let's move on to the update to see what that says. So update. Firstly, thank you everyone for your comments, messages, insights and support. It really helped me strengthen my resolve and find solace in what I was doing. I'll address a few concerns and questions that popped up before my mini update. Yes, Bill knows Jane is his. When Tom got his paternity test done, he and Bill had him go separately to get tested. Why am I letting Tom stay with me? Well, he was family for years, and for me, you don't just chuck family out onto the streets except for extreme situations. Divorce takes a year in my state, and Tom is opting to stay to make sure it can all be handled quickly and smoothly to get it finalised as soon as possible. That said, he plans on moving back to his home state after that, so I'm letting him stay with me so he can save money for his move and moving expenses. Otherwise, the only places he could afford on his own require 6 and 12-month leases. Supporting Tom and Bill may result in my sister and I having little to no contact. True, it may, and that'll be our crosses to bear, but I can't find it in me to ignore others needing help just to satiate her and excuse her behaviour. I still love my sister. Whatever my feelings or opinions of what she did or is doing have no place in this, nor is it really the time for me to go expressing them to her. Bill's lawyer says it's very likely Bill will wind up with a custody agreement, and he has assured me that if things do go south with my sister, that she won't let me see my niece. I'd always be welcome to visit them to see her during his time with her. Now for the update. It's not a huge one, but rather surprising. My sister is still being cranky and doubling down, doing all she can to guilt Tom into reconciling and adamant about Bill not being involved because she has a husband that just needs to realise they can work through this. Tom is Jane's dad and Bill is not needed, so meh, there. Last week, I went on a fishing trip with both Tom and Bill for 3 of us just to relax and forget all this nonsense for a bit. Once we got back, my mother showed up to try talking me about why I'm doing any of this. Surprisingly, we had a decent talk after some heated tension. I wound up showing her the post, and while she wasn't happy I was airing our laundry, it helped a bit. Ultimately, I was able to get through to her that given the circumstances and the high probability Bill is going to be present in Jane's life from here on out, the best thing for Jane would be if our family and Bill could at least coexist. I asked her how she would feel if our granddaughter was constantly having to choose who to spend her time with for birthdays, graduation, prom pictures, etc. Or God forbid, we all put her in a position that she would have to lie to everyone about what she wanted just to not hurt feelings. It took a while, but that seemed to at least get through to her a bit. She's still not happy about the whole situation, but she did agree to a dinner in a public place to meet Bill and some of his family, and I'm happy to say that wound up going off really well, and Bill's mother had a good heart-to-heart with her. So, some progress. Thanks again everyone for the support. My jaw was nearly on the floor as I was reading that. It was hard to not stop when the sister turned around and said, "We can still work through this," like it's her decision to make. I mean, what the hell's that about? And I'm still kind of glad that, Bill's starting to get some resolution to this and being able to see his child. But I do wonder what the transitionary period between, between Tom and Bill is going to be. Is he Tom literally just going to cut out of it and then Bill step in? Because that might be kind of weird. I don't know how it would work. And in some ways, I still feel like there's going to be a few more bumps in the road with that sister, because she sounds like a piece of work, doesn't she? But what do you guys think of this one? Let me know, and we'll move on to another story. And our next story is from Green Eyes Are Cool. My 27 female, boyfriend 35 male, tries to control everything I eat and gets angry when I get upset. I 27 female have been with my boyfriend 35 male for nearly 2 years. He's a personal trainer and is very fit. I am not overweight and I would work out regularly. Due to corona etc, my work banned us from going to public facilities, so I could no longer go to the gym. I gained some weight but not much. However, even before this he would fixate on my diet. I would eat oatmeal, salad and sometimes junk food. He would say that wasn't healthy and I should only eat grilled chicken breast and sweet potato. He would eat some snacks, and if I tried to eat some, he would actively take it out of my hand and say, "No, you didn't go to the gym. You can't have this." It got so bad that I was in tears telling him I could not cope with this behavior. He said he is only trying to help me, but I explained that this is my body and it is my choice. He said fine. Then a few months ago, I was diagnosed with EOE. The doctor told me to eat a Mediterranean diet. So I would do this, but also sometimes I would treat myself. My boyfriend would get angry and say that I can't complain if I have pain and would not take me to the hospital. I explained that even when I follow the diet exactly, I still experience pain. It was bad yesterday as I was eating some chicken and he got angry and told me not to eat it. I said it's fine and then he yelled, "Don't eat it." I told him I can make my own choices and he told me I needed to change my behavior. I really cannot handle this behavior. I tried to compromise and discuss it with him, but he's stonewalled and won't talk, or he'll just keep apologizing, and if I try to talk about it, he'll yell stop. I have had anorexia and bulimia when I was younger and into my late teens. I don't want to struggle with food again, as it has been a long journey. I mean, the title in this one had me going yikes, but as soon as I got to I think it was the second paragraph where it said like, he would actively take things out of my hand and said, "No, you didn't go to the gym, you can't have this," his ass would be out that door fast. And I think you really need to ask yourself in those situations, and I know it's incredibly difficult when you've been in a relationship like this for X amount of time. So I'm not saying it's easy or anything like that, but is this a relationship you really want to be in? Is this the life that you want for yourself? Like you said, it's your body, it's your choice. So with that being said, can you really say that's someone that loves you, or is this someone that wants to control you? And that's all I can really think about. Let's go to the comments and see what they say down there. And Lazy Opposite says, "Please leave this relationship. I'm sorry you're going through this." Fan of Fromage says, "This man is bad news for you. Get out now. He's abusing you and he's using food because you have an eating disorder. Abusers look for vulnerable people to prey on, and he had found an easy way to abuse you. You will not recover as long as he is in your life. No boyfriend should be controlling you at all. You're an adult and you should not waste any time on a man who does not treat you as an equal adult. Do not try to save this relationship. If someone is being abusive to you on purpose, he won't want to change." Bay Brit says, "Run from this relationship and run fast." Malachi says, "He's a controlling arsehole and you should definitely dump him, and so should his clients. He sounds really bad at his job. Having to earn food is a really unhealthy mentality. And Trippy Girl says, excuse me? He takes food out of your hand because you didn't go to the gym. OP, how long have you been with a controlling guy? What the fuck did he do to you that you're actually tolerating someone who behaves towards you as if you're their 10-year-old child? You want to make compromises with this person. No compromises, no deals, your mouth, your body, your choice. That is the only way this goes. No anger from him, no comments from him, no nothing. Just an adult respecting another adult and their freedom to decide what they put in their mouth. He has no business telling you what to eat. You have to break up. You have to seek professional help because tolerating this bullshit is a serious problem. Thinking that you somehow need to make compromises with the person controlling what you eat is a serious problem. You have a history of eating disorders, OP. The last thing in this world that you should do is date someone like this. Wake the fuck up and get away from the person who treats you with no respect or disguising it as care. This is not care, it's control. Now, what do you guys make of this story and all of today's stories? I would love to know your thoughts and comments below if you choose to share them. Never any pressure though. And if you do have a moment of your time and you did enjoy these stories, please click that like button. Don't forget we post twice a day, every day. Most days, occasionally I mess up, but... So I just wanted to let you know in case YouTube doesn't inform you. Sometimes it doesn't tell people there's 2 videos a day. I don't know why. And also don't forget at the very end of the video there is playlists that pop up and you can click them and it'll scroll through them by themselves so you don't have to keep clicking all the time. It gets annoying, doesn't it? A huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending 20 minutes or so of your precious time with me today, and I will see you in the next one. Take care guys, much love.